Take a look at this CCTV footage. This clip is truly chilling. This crash happened on November 4, 2025. The blaze was so intense that it lit up the sky and was visible from miles away. What's the full story? Let's find out in today's video. On November 4, 2025, at Louisville International Airport in the United States, an MD-11 cargo aircraft was preparing for departure with 3 crew members on board. This flight was operated by UPS Airlines as Flight 2976. On November 4th, Flight 2976 was scheduled to take off from Louisville International Airport and head to Honolulu International Airport. This flight was going to be pretty long, almost 13 to 14 hours. Therefore, the aircraft's fuel tanks were filled nearly to capacity for the long-haul flight. After refueling, the plane got clearance to take off. While taxiing, the aircraft proceeded to runway 17R. At 5:13 p.m., it began its takeoff roll, powered by its 3 engines. The aircraft rapidly reached takeoff speed. Moments later, smoke began arising from the left engine. Now, since the plane had already passed the takeoff speed, there was no way to stop it. Flames kept shooting out of the left engine, and with those flames, the plane took off. The aircraft briefly climbed to approximately 175 feet before crashing back onto the runway. At around 344 kilometers per hour, this crash was recorded by a bunch of CCTV cameras and dash cams from many angles. The impact caused several nearby houses to catch fire. The visuals are extremely disturbing. I can't even show all of them here. All 3 crew members on board were killed, along with more than a dozen people on the ground. 15 others were injured and 16 remain missing. The death toll could still go up right now. The investigation team is at the scene and has recovered both black boxes. Why did this happen? How did it happen? We'll only find out once the investigation report is out. But for now, with the available data, I try to understand this crash. So let's check out what my investigation report says. First, let's examine this footage showing the aircraft lifting off. Flames are visible near the left engine and the nose is pitched high, indicating it had reached takeoff speed. The video begins as the aircraft appears to be leaving the runway. But if you check out the way the smoke's moving, it's clearly the fire must have already started while the plane was still on the runway. Coming to the second video, you'd usually expect an object to look too dark in a photo if the sun is behind it. But that's not what's happening here. This part of the plane should be in shadow because the sun is behind it, yet it's still bright. That means the light is coming from a fire, which we can't really see clearly on the camera. From all this evidence, it's clear there was a fire near the aircraft's right wing. In the next CCTV footage, you can see the plane rolling. This picture was taken from a helicopter. There must have been a huge fire. Judging by the extent of the destruction, it's hard to believe that only 12 fatalities occurred. So the key question is, how did the engine catch fire? Usually, a plane engine can catch fire in 2 ways. One, if there's damage inside the engine like broken blades, a burst in the compressor chamber, or something similar. The other reason could be that something from outside got sucked inside the engine. But that's pretty unlikely here since there was nothing on the runway which could seriously damage the plane's engine. That's why poor engine maintenance could be a big reason behind this accident and the fire. In this footage, the right engine appears intact, suggesting it was functioning properly. According to the initial report, there was nothing on the runway that could cause a crash or a fire. In this picture, we can see the plane's right engine attached to the wing. All the landing gears are down, but the left engine isn't visible on the wing. This indicates the left engine likely detached during the takeoff roll. So why did it break off? Well, there could be so many reasons for that. The plane's engine is connected by the pylon, and the pylon is attached to the plane's wings. If the connection between those two is weak, the engine can snap off and fall away from the wing. A similar incident occurred with American Airlines Flight 191 in 1979. The aircraft's engine detached, causing it to roll sharply to the left and crash shortly after takeoff. This incident looks almost exactly the same. But the clue found on the runway tells a different story. Here, you can see some broken pieces of the plane's engine. While it's not confirmed, it looks like these parts came from the outside of the engine, which must have broken off and fallen onto the runway. The engine braking like this suggests there was probably an explosion inside, which caused the outer casing to break and fall down. In another picture, you can see the internal parts of the engine. If the problem was with the pylon, then the engine's outer cover wouldn't have broken and scattered all over the airport. This leads me to believe that an internal engine explosion may have triggered the sequence of failures. Something must have blown up the engine, causing such a big crash. According to Flight Radar 24's data, there was no issue reported with this plane. The plane was taking off completely normally. The pilots made no operational errors. The fuel tank was simply filled to accommodate the long flight. You can say that the tank was nearly full since the flight was going to last about 13 to 14 hours. But even so, the plane wasn't overloaded. The large quantity of fuel on board likely intensified the post-impact fire. The MD-11 and DC-10 were originally made by McDonnell Douglas. But in 1997, McDonnell Douglas merged with Boeing, and now Boeing has full control over these planes. Talking about this plane, it was 34 years old. Thai Airways brought it back in 1991 and flew it as a passenger plane for many years. Then, in 2006, they sold it to UPS Airlines. They removed all the seats from the plane and converted it into a cargo plane. Since then, this plane has been used to transport goods. UPS stands for United Parcel Service. Basically, they handle shipping packages. If you order something from another country, chances are UPS Airlines will deliver it to you. That's why this airline runs cargo planes. Whether the fault lies with Boeing or the airlines will be determined after the official investigation, expected to take around 18 months. For now, that's all for this video. If you liked the video, give it a like. If not, feel free to dislike. Either way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more informative content. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep watching and keep learning.